Okay, is my sound working properly? I hope so. I'm using a different microphone setup than I did previously, using my lapel mic. So, let's get this. I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for March 24th, 2021. We're back in Jacksonville, Florida, the Daily's place. We got JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur back on commentary, and we're going to kick it off with Kenny Omega. He has his big entrance. He's the AEW champion. He's got Don Callis and the two dancing broom girls on his side. He's even got Pyro. He's got the Justin Roberts extremely long intro and the North Carolina reference. Of course, it's Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal for this opening match. Don Callis on commentary, and Matt Sydal, for some odd reason, I'm not exactly sure, he takes Kenny Omega to the limit. We're talking about 2 V-triggers here. Matt, he's setting up for a shooting star press, but Omega stops him. Omega hits that knee again. Matt reverses the one-winged angel, right? Think that this is going to be the end of it, but it's not. Get that V-trigger again, and the one-winged angel actually is completed, and Omega wins this match. I was surprised to see that Matt Sydal, of all people, was able to take Kenny Omega to the limit, but not going to be the last time tonight that we actually see somebody in this capacity taking a main eventer, or a champion, rather. Yeah, main eventer or champion. Hey, taking him to the limit. We saw that in the main event, but we will get there. But it was pretty surprising. I get that they have to build intrigue and like, oh my gosh, but Matt Sydal? Yikes, that's crazy. It's like you would think that Matt Sydal would get more opportunities with him being able to pull off such a competitive match with the champion. Well, we got Alex Marvez, and he's interviewing John Silver. John Silver is part of the Dark Order. And, of course, the Dark Order, they do their little funny spots. Here, they are doing trust falls. And everybody gets caught with the trust falls except for Alan Angels, number 5 of the Dark Order, because he's the one that they like to make fun of. He's the one that's always the butt of the jokes. He's the one who doesn't get caught in the trust fall and ends up landing safely on the leather couch in the background. Adam Page, he was hanging out with the Dark Order apparently in this room. I think it's probably more because I think that they have a bar in that room. Adam Page asked John Silver, are you nervous? And your guys are going to be proud of you either way. So I like how they had Adam Page in this situation, basically telling John Silver, bro, you're going to be challenging for the TNT Championship. You're going to be in the main event. That's awesome. Cool, dude. Cool story, bro. But you're probably not going to win, so get used to that. Get ready for that. So not entirely supportive, but I guess he did it in a nice way. Right now, however, we have Adam Page. He is taking on Cesar Banoni. Look, this guy, he was on AEW Dark recently and was a part of just the worst botch. Man, it looked like on Warzone when you miss a grapple and your guy's kind of like, no. That's what he looked like. Why they didn't edit that out? Unsure. I don't know. But they didn't. And they're live here, presumably. So there's nothing to edit out. Yes. He tries. He looks big. Cesar, he looks big and strong, but you know what? Not big and strong enough to kick out of a buckshot lariat. Adam Page comes away with the victory. This man has been racking up the victories left and right, and he does it again here. Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, he's in a dilapidated building, a building that is falling apart. The roof is coming down, and he says that there would be no Lance Archer without Sting. And, Sting's bat used to mean something. And now, it's Lance Archer's time. And he believes his time is now. He believes that Lance Archer is going to be, he believes in himself, and he believes that himself, Lance Archer, is going to become a big-time star. So good for him. You should probably evacuate that abandoned building immediately before it crashes down on you and it hurts inside. Get a recap of the brutal women's match that happened last week with all the blood, the thumbtacks, the brutality. Tony Schiavone is interviewing Britt Baker. I don't know if she was scarred up. I couldn't tell. Her makeup was covering it up if that was the case, but she was able to get her Britt Baker t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees in record time. She was wearing her own face on her shirt from last week, which I'm sure is going to be a good seller for her. That is an iconic photo that I'm sure will be shown a lot and remembered fondly. And she's kind of offended that the fans are not popping enough for her coming out and just gracing them with her presence, which I did notice as well. You would think after a match like that, people would be going crazy. A standing ovation, perhaps, but no, we didn't get that. Not the standing ovation of the past, like when the Hardys and Edge and Christian had a brutal match, and the fans were like, "Oh, we salute you for your bravery and all this and surviving." It was not the case here. She takes the microphone and cuts a promo on Thunder Rosa, letting us know that I guess that's not over, and how Britt Baker made Thunder Rosa. And I was like, "Hold on, hold the phone." No. Maybe for the AEW audience, but I think we were already ready to go. But, you know, her ego's out of control after this thing, even to the point where she mentions Mick Foley and how Mick Foley had given her a thumbs up for her brutal match with the thumbtacks and all. And she says it took Mick 20 years to become a hardcore legend, and she did it in one match. And see, classic. You see, anyone who hates on Mick Foley, it's instant heat. I don't know if that's still the case these days. I mean, so much time has passed. I don't know if people are still clinging on to that. Who knows? But, you know, Mick Foley, regardless, is a beloved figure in wrestling, so that makes total sense. And Britt says that she put AEW on the map. And if the map, I assume she means Jacksonville, Florida, because that's the only place that they've been in the past year, says that the AEW acronym is only second to DMD, which the people got along with and said along with her. So they were down with what she was saying. They understood what she was saying. Backstage, we got Christian Cage. He's talking to the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin, which Dante Martin and the Varsity Blondes will be in 3-on-3 action tonight. And Frankie Kazarian decides to pop in without asking. He says, Christian, I like your shirt, but when are you going to be doing that work part of it? And Christian is like, yeah, you know what? That work, that hard work, that great match, all that stuff, hey, it's going to be happening starting next week. And tells Frankie Kazarian to step up. Okay, so they're going to wrestle next week, and Frankie is like, yeah, what are you doing on Monday? You probably should be checking out my match because it's been so many years since you had a match. And Christian does have a brief moment of emotion on his face as if to say, oh, shoot, this man is right. I have not been wrestling. I have not been in that ring for a long time, and Frankie Kazarian, presumably, we've had our battles in the past, but he's still been doing it week in and week out, and I haven't. Maybe, just maybe, I got a little bit of rust on me. But we're going to find out next week on Dynamite as they face each other. Now, let's get to that 3-on-3 match. It is the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin versus Pinnacle, which is FTR and Shawn Spears. MJF, the leader, and Tully Blanchard are there on the outside. Now, Dante and the Blondes in the match, they do go for a dive on the outside to Pinnacle, but decide not to, stop dead in their tracks when Wardlow towers over them in his suit. So why didn't they want to jump on Wardlow? Like, was he too tall where, you know, he's sticking up like a thumbtack and they didn't want to land on him? Or they were too scared to? I mean, they have the high ground, right? They should be able to jump on this man, no problem. But they don't. They do not do this. No. Wardlow doesn't let that happen. Totally take a cheap shot in his expensive suit on the outside. FTR, they looked very aggressive in this thing, but, honestly, when do they not? Pinnacle, they worked great together. Sean Spears gets the win. I was surprised with the cold stare in his eye. I don't get the blonde hair. It throws me off. It looks a little odd to me, but that's his new look. That's what he's going with. Tony Schiavone comes in to interview Wardlow, and MJF, he's got a little subtle smirk on his face, a little happiness going on. He feels like, hey, the Pinnacle group right here, it's working out pretty well. Cash takes the mic, says Pinnacle isn't just a name, it's a family, and he will die for these men. And I'm like, my dude, like, you just joined. MJF is somewhat of a snake. You should recognize this, right? I mean, what family things have they done? Like, if they went out to Applebee's? Like, I don't understand. Like, they're a group now, but he's talking about family? Like, what happened off screen that I missed that makes them that cohesive, like that close, that he's going to call them family? Regardless, Dax gets on the microphone and he says, pro wrestling. If you want pro wrestling, then you come to the Pinnacle. Okay. So, yeah, a very, like, 80s promo. I mean, dude, like, no wonder they don't let these guys talk that much, or Dax, It was just not a lot of substance there, honestly. MJF makes a fat joke on Jericho, which Jericho isn't there. And MJF challenges Jericho and the boys to come down, but that doesn't happen. MJF says that when you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top. But see, the thing is, if you're in Pinnacle, you're not on the top. Like, how could you ever be on the top if you're inside of anything, right? I mean, if you're inside the thing that you're claiming to be on top of, you're not on top. What's really funny is Pinnacle is the logo, it's a mountain. And I live in Little Rock, and we have a mountain called Pinnacle, which I've climbed several times. It's good exercise. Pinnacle Mountain. Pinnacle the group. Pinnacle. Hey, it's cool. I like that. I've been on top of Pinnacle, and I never have been inside of it. I would not want to be inside of it because I would not be alive. Now, Team Taz, they are in the back, and they're cutting a promo, and it has echoes. Even the members of Team Taz seem to recognize that there are echoes in this promo, and they're looking around like, oh man, are we having another interruption from an NBA game? Oh no! But Taz assures us that everyone is good, subtly letting us know, that the sound's fine. I'm guessing, but he says, that everyone's good, everyone's solid, everyone's cohesive, everyone's great. Everybody's gonna work together, right? And Brian Cage gives a look to the side, almost to say, not 100% all in on this thing, but he does say, who better? Because he loves Canyon, He loves Canyon. I don't know why he loves Canyon. I mean, nothing against Canyon. It's an interesting choice is all I can say. QT Marshall? He's interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He says his wife is happy. We're showing his wife in the crowd, and she is very happy. Not the first or last time that we'll see wife and children. Well, I guess there was no children in this case, but there was a wife in the crowd. He says that he's had great opportunities, but he's been getting the coffee, and for Cody Rhodes, he's been working hard all night while Cody goes home and hangs out with his wife. He's been grinding and working all this, and insinuating that Cody's kind of shoving all this work his way and making him do all this extra stuff. And, he doesn't want to just be known as Cody's friend. QT, he wants an exhibition match next week. He wants to really prove himself. Cody Rhodes takes off his headset in dramatic fashion as he comes out, and he has this whole sling on, and he's like, hey, I approve of this exhibition. I'll wrestle you. And he's kind of talking down to him. kind of reaffirming what QT Marshall was talking about. He says, even Arn will be the ref, so it'll be fair. And I'm like, will it be? Because Arn's kind of Cody's like number one, right? I mean, he's the one with the sheet, with the menu that gives him all the information he needs to win the matches. Cody says he will do the match. Even though this man's wearing a sling, they're going to do this next week. He says, I'm not going to hurt you. When I get that opportunity, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put the figure 4 in. I'm not going to hold it in there. And I'm like thinking, what is this? Like, this seems condescending, but it seems as if this promo was like legitimately to say, Cody he's going to give you what you want. He's going to give it to you, but he's not going to hurt you. But it really did come off a little sinister, honestly. And Cody says that QT's been a good assistant. And I'm like, see, there he goes again. He's dropping these like subtle, like assistant, and I'm not going to hurt you like I could, but I'm not going to. And you've been a good friend. You might be my best friend. Handshake, friend to friend, whatever. And then they go away from this. So I don't see any way that QT Marshall continues to be friends with this guy or stays in this group. Like, there's no way. He's going to have to break away. Otherwise, why even do this? Just to make QT Marshall feel better? Like, well, I finally had that match with Cody. It was competitive. I lost, of course. And, yeah, well, now everybody knows what a good wrestler I am. No. This dude is totally going to leave the Nightmare family. And honestly, he might as well, because the Nightmare family is getting quite thick on the membership, might I say. Now, it is Lucha Bros. They are back together. Man, thank you. I've been wondering why these guys haven't been tagging together. I know they got Death Triangle and all this going on, but I just wanted some more of the Lucha Bros. Well, they're tagging with Laredo Kid, who hasn't been in AEW since, their first pay-per-view? But he's back. Hey, there he is. They're taking on the Young Bucks, who are the tag team champions, and Brandon Cutler is their partner as well. We got Ray and Nick starting this match with some grappling, which I was surprised. I thought they were just going to go into this thing 100 miles an hour. However, they did not. Got Laredo Kid and Brandon Cutler to get in the ring, kick up some action, some fast-paced stuff going on here. They're flying in and out of the ring. The referee just lets these guys do whatever they want. It doesn't matter who's in the ring, who's out of the ring, who's coming in, who's coming out. They're flying in and out of the ring. It is ridiculous, the amount. But Laredo Kid wins regardless of how much cooperative flipping and flying they have. And trust me, there was a lot. Kenny Omega comes down with a microphone, and for some reason, he's breathing more heavy than the Young Bucks were after having this long match with all this acrobatics. Omega says that he had a choice to stay with his family at home, to go to New York, to WWE. No. He went all in on not just AEW, but the Bucks. And he's basically saying, yo, Bucks, you need to be down with me as well. Like, I put everything out there. And maybe you guys don't like Don Callis. Maybe he's a little too bald for you guys. Maybe he's a little too brash. Maybe he's too good on the microphone and he intimidates you, right? But he wants the Young Bucks to have his back like he had their back. And the Young Bucks, they're like, nah. They walk off. Brandon Cutler goes with them. The Bucks did not choose Omega back. Omega just wanted that approval, right? That he wanted him to be on the side. He wanted him to do the thing. But they did not do the thing. They walked away. And Omega, yeah, he's like, it ain't happening. And the Bucks turn their back and walk off. Omega says, we're done. And the Lucha Bros are like, well, we're still here. So they attack and beat down Omega. And the Good Brothers come down and help the bloodied mouth of Omega back up. Now, we get the Jade Cargill video package, a little recap action. And she says, you know, when you step in the ring with Jade Cargill, you're stepping into the ring with that bitch, quote unquote. So I like that video package. Great cameras, like the lenses that they use. Ooh, it looks so nice. It looks so crisp. It looks so clean. And it makes her look like $1,000,000. Like, for real. That looks, like the presentation. Spot on. Great. Talking about presentation, now we got a new television show coming to TNT. Surprise, surprise. If you liked Mr. and Mrs. Miz, if you like that kind of show, well, now we have Rhodes to the Top TV show coming about the Rhodes family. I'm not surprised whatsoever that that's happening. That seems like something they would do. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I could see why it would be appealing to a lot of people. Cody Rhodes is a likable guy. Brandy Rhodes, she's likable. You know, my main issue with her in the past is her just interjecting herself into storyline after storyline, and those storylines going nowhere, and then just over and over, rinse and repeat. But now that she's pregnant, that's not happening. So, hey, perfect opportunity, I suppose. Yes, TNT has really gone all in on Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes honestly is the face. I mean, he's the guy. He is like he's an attraction. He's one of the main attractions to AEW. So yeah, what are those ratings going to do? You know, are they going to really draw an audience? With WWE and Total Divas and all these other shows, they had that whole machine of WWE and the lineage in the past. And, you know, is that going to be the same thing? Like, do they have that built-in audience? You know, they really try everything they can do to appeal to the women, like to those demographics. They have the AEW Heels thing where you can pay as a female fan to see more content. Hey, it's possible, but I'm sure that some of these TV shows, you know, with the past year of not being able to, you know, very limited restrictions on what you can and can't do as far as making new content for shows, they got cameras everywhere. Hey, why not? It's probably a very easy, quick way to cash in on it. I'm sure that the production cost for something like that is relatively low. So, you know, what are you going to do? We got Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus Ty Conti. And the Dark Order, they stand on the stage in solidarity during the entrance for Ty Conti here. And Nyla Rose wastes no time whatsoever coming in hot on Ty Conti. I mean, attacking this lady. There's even a spot where Ty Conti is draped across the ropes, which seemed like a long time, and Nyla dropped that body weight on Ty Conti for a kick out. Ty tries to confront the vicious Vicky there on the outside. And yeah, Ty gets hit from behind. Good heel stuff going on here. But Ty does come back with wild fist and kicks. And she goes for a DDT, which is her finishing maneuver, but no. And big knee to Nyla for 2. And she finally does hit that DDT for the 3. I was surprised. I didn't think that she was going to win, but she's got a great look. She seems to be a great talent, and her facial expressions, the way she was emoting in the ring, I believed it, and I was on her side. So she seems like somebody who could most certainly be a star here in AEW. So, yes. Now, at this point, we have a little bit of a post-match beat down here. Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, comes out and attacks with the kendo stick. And the bunny appears and uses the stick. And Ty and Shida are down. Matt Hardy, big money Matt Hardy with the Butcher Blade and the bunny on stage. And he says that the bunny has been overlooked and that stops now. So, yes, well, I guess intrinsically, by default, the bunny is part of big money, Matt Hardy's big money services. He's trying to get as much money as possible. So why not come to the aid of the bunny. So that's going to start off something there. They haven't done a lot with the bunny in the ring, so it looks like that is about to change. They are going to be having a tag team match next week. So a little bit of setup for you. We get a recap on Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, Miro, the Kip Sabian thing. They're going to be having that tag match next week. Very quick recap for that. None of those guys were at the show. I don't suppose. It didn't seem like it. But they will be at the show next week, so that'll be interesting to see. And a little bit more of a reminder of what we're going to see next week, like Christian Cage making his AEW debut in the ring next week. So he will be having a match. That will be good. Now, we got a little bit of a pre-recorded video here. It's Scorpio Sky he's done. He is done being underrated. He is the face of the Revolution. He has found himself. He has discovered that he is a talent, and he knows he's a talent. He believes in himself. And although he's kind of taken a bad road, he's become kind of a bad guy here. He doesn't really think that it matters so much. He knows his worth, and he's going to prove it to us. So, ready to see that. But for now, right now, we have the main event. It's for the TNT Championship. It is John Silver taking on Darby Allin, who is the TNT Champion. Got the Dark Order there ringside. John Silver shows his strength, and he most certainly does have strength. What he has in strength, he does lack in his height. But it didn't seem to matter because he was tossing Darby around like a child. I was like, my goodness. So that was a little jarring to see that, such a short guy tossing Darby around like he's a super lightweight. But hey, John Silver does have some quite large arms. So what are you going to do? Silver does dominate through the commercial until Darby kind of screws him, or Silver kind of screws himself by running into the barricade, falling over onto the concrete. It looked brutal. My goodness, that had to hurt. Darby dives to the outside of the ring, but Alan Angels number 5 takes that bullet. Sting comes out. He has his bat, and he holds it up, which is like shining a light in the dark, or the Dark Order, making all the bugs scatter out of the way. So he is bringing a little bit of justice here to the AEW main event right here. Darby comes in with some fast-paced action here, and John Silver catches him with a little choke here in the ring, and Silver hits a DDT that was so wonky the announcers didn't even know how to call it or what to say. They were just like, what just happened here? Sting watches on. Darby, he's on the top rope. He hits the coffin drop to the outside on the Dark Order because screw those guys, right? And Silver, he goes to end it, but Darby's legs are on ropes. Silver goes for a power bomb. Wouldn't have been much of a power bomb. Short people jokes. But Darby rolls him up for the win. And still the champion, Darby Allin. And then, out of nowhere, here comes Matt Hardy. He's got to be sticking his nose into everything. But Darby's like, no. So, of course, it's AEW. Got to end in chaos every time because why not? This was a very quick, fast-paced show, for better or for worse, but it was pretty solid regardless. I enjoyed it. So that was AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can check me out on twitch.tv/donut_space or with the YouTube Wrestling Federation, our animated wrestling promotion. That is at youtube.com/YouTube Wrestling Federation. Hey, it is a devastating move, the roll-up, because it's out of nowhere. You don't expect it. I mean, you get hit with it, and so many people have gone down. Major superstars, big-time main eventers. Who hasn't fallen victim to the surprise roll-up? It's simplistic in its nature, but effective in its execution. It is absolutely the case. But yes, I will catch you guys next time.